Did you know that proposed changes to welfare could redefine the lives of millions? What hidden truths are being masked by promises of savings and job support? Discover the alarming details and take action before it's too late. In recent developments, the UK government has announced significant changes to the welfare system, claiming that these reforms will save £5 billion annually by the year 2030 and facilitate greater employment among the populace. However, a closer examination reveals a stark contrast between the official narrative and the lived realities of marginalized stakeholders, particularly those reliant on the Personal Independence Payment, or PP. This benefit, which currently supports over 3.6 million individuals with long-term health conditions, is set to undergo stringent assessments that could jeopardize the financial stability of hundreds of thousands. The proposed changes will require claimants to score at least 4 points in specific daily living tasks to qualify for support, a shift from the previous system that allowed for a broader interpretation of difficulties. Paradoxically, while the government asserts that these measures are designed to streamline support, they may inadvertently push vulnerable individuals further into hardship. The historical context of welfare reform in the UK is crucial to understanding the implications of these changes. The austerity measures implemented following the financial crisis of 2008 serve as a grim reminder of how economic policies can disproportionately affect the most vulnerable. This pattern recalls the welfare cuts of the early 2000s, which similarly targeted those in need under the guise of fiscal responsibility. As the government touts its commitment to helping those who can work, one must ask, who truly benefits from these reforms? Are they genuinely aimed at empowering individuals, or do they serve to reinforce existing inequalities? Moreover, the adjustments to universal credit, which affects 7.5 million people, further illustrate the divide between elite narratives and the realities faced by marginalized groups. While the basic level of universal credit is set to increase, the removal of incapacity benefits for those under 22 years old raises questions about the government's commitment to supporting young people with disabilities. The Work and Pensions Secretary, Liz Kendall, claims that the new Right to Try system will provide financial security for those attempting to re-enter the workforce. Yet, how can one reconcile this with the freezing of health-related top-ups for existing claimants until 2030? Experts in social policy have noted that these reforms may exacerbate the challenges faced by those with disabilities. As one analyst stated, the tightening of PP assessments is a clear indication that the government prioritizes budget cuts over the well-being of its citizens. This sentiment echoes the concerns of many advocates who argue that the proposed changes will not only undermine the safety net for the most vulnerable but also perpetuate a cycle of poverty and exclusion. Looking ahead, the implications of these reforms are troubling. As the government shifts its focus towards a more punitive welfare system, one must ponder, what will become of those who cannot meet the new, stringent criteria? Will we witness a rise in homelessness and destitution among those who once relied on these essential benefits? The systemic analysis reveals a troubling trajectory, one that favors fiscal austerity over social equity. As we navigate this complex landscape, it is imperative to advocate for a transformation of existing structures toward a more just and equitable system, one that genuinely supports all citizens, regardless of their circumstances. In my view, the recent changes to Personal Independence Payment and universal credit reflect a troubling disregard for the most vulnerable among us. It is striking that the government prioritizes savings of £5 billion over the well-being of hundreds of thousands of individuals who rely on these crucial benefits. By tightening access to disability support and raising barriers for young claimants, these reforms serve to entrench systemic injustices that marginalize those already facing immense challenges. As we move forward, one must question, at what cost do we sacrifice dignity and support for the sake of fiscal austerity? Subscribit y Dale like para mantenert informado.